Results so far in 2022 for the U.S. non-standard auto insurance segment are the worst it has seen in 5 years and come on the heels of several relatively good years during the pandemic. Here to talk about a new AM Best report on the segment's struggles are David Blades, Associate Director, Industry Research and Analytics, and Michael Vallerio, Associate Analyst, both with AM Best. So, David, is it fair to say that the results were worse than expected?
Yeah, I think when you think of it, as we've looked at the results for 2021 and even through third quarter 2022, it's definitely safe to say that the results have been worse than expected. But I think that's, for non-standard auto, I think they've followed the general personal auto trend in terms of deteriorating results. I think when we look at specifically, the inflationary pressures that are impacting our personal auto writers, you have the supply chain and just the delay of microprocessor chips being available, and then how that's impacting rising claim costs from that perspective. So you see a lot of the, like I said, the inflationary trends have definitely been a negative or a hindrance on the results, and we've seen that probably impact some of the non-standard auto writers more than the standard auto writers. Non-standard auto in general, non-standard auto insurers in general are providing insurance for higher risk insurers, the elderly, the very young, new immigrants who are new to the country and might only want limited insurance or lowest limit insurance. So just the nature of that has put more pressure on the insurers to be more circumspect in terms of risk selection, disciplined underwriting, and then obviously price adequacy. And price adequacy or inadequacy has definitely been one of the main factors that's been plaguing the auto market in general, and specifically the non-standard auto market. So as they drill down on some of those types of factors, we'll hopefully see the results trend in a more favorable direction.
So are carriers doing anything, or perhaps we should say anything differently, to mitigate the losses?
I think risk selection is the key. So I think getting a better hold on your individual portfolio. Auto, just like any other insurance, is written on an account-by-account basis, so you're underwriting the individual driver. But again, some of those, whether it's societal or just adverse trends that are impacting things, like I said, higher driver fatalities, and some of the distracted driving is another sort of societal thing that's impacting the auto market in general. Drilling down on that in terms of how it's impacting your individual portfolio is really what's going to help the insurers be more successful from that perspective. Also using some of the more advanced pricing algorithms and really, again, tailoring them to be more effective for their particular book of business. That's also going to be something that's going to help the insurers be more effective on a going forward basis. But auto underwriting is about risk selection and adequate pricing, and hoping that you deal with the ebbs and flows. I mean, again, there are always going to be auto accidents, but to the extent that these carriers can really assess their portfolios, they'll have a chance to be more successful.
Michael, do demographics play a role in the results, geographically or otherwise?
Absolutely, John. Demographics do play a role. California, Texas, and Florida generate half the premiums in the United States, whilst only being 3 states, the 3 out of 50. They have a strong new immigrant population, which when new immigrants come to the United States and seek to drive on the roadways, they have to obtain coverage via the non-standard auto market. Florida is also another state where we see a fair amount of premiums coming in for the non-standard auto market, as they have a heavy senior citizen population, which is also considered a risky driver. Them, along with young adults, are considered a good portion of the non-standard auto market.
How does the non-standard market compare with the standard market?
As we've seen in the past, the non-standard auto market is inferior to the standard auto market in terms of the combined ratio. In 2020 and 2021, we saw this gap widen even more than it has in the past due to financial and service charges that led to the underwriting expense ratio increase, which in turn increases the combined ratio overall, which is why we have seen a gap in 2020 and 2021. Non-standard auto also has to see some higher fraudulent claims than the standard auto market does, because of the risk profiles that these people who are obtaining the coverages possess. The final thing I want to say is that non-standard auto could face some challenges in the future due to some acquisitions from Allstate and State Farm, with the buying out of smaller writers or smaller carriers writing in the non-standard auto market. This could cause some tough sledding for smaller companies or independent entities, because the Allstate and State Farm Corporation will be obtaining the better low-risk accounts and leaving the smaller carriers with higher risk profiles.
Michael, David, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
You can find the full report online at ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.